Welcome back. Mark chapter 9 all week long. We're just going to jump right in. I've got a question for you in a minute that, I think may inspire you to think a little bit bigger about Jesus Christ and what he's asked you to do. And as I always say, I want you to hang around to the end because I want to pray for you. It's 50 verses this week. We're going to jump in on a Monday. We're going to read 8 of them and then ask ourselves a question. Here we go, New Living Translation. Jesus went on to say, I tell you the truth, some standing here right now will not die before they see the kingdom of God arrive in great power. 6 days later, Jesus took Peter, James, and John and led them up a high mountain to be alone. As the men watched, Jesus' appearance was transformed and his clothes became dazzling white, far whiter than any earthly bleach could ever make them. Then Elijah and Moses appeared and began talking with Jesus. Peter exclaimed, Rabbi, it's wonderful for us to be here. Let's make 3 shelters as memorials, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah. He said this because he didn't really know what else to say, for they were all terrified. Then a cloud overshadowed them, and a voice from the cloud said, This is my dearly loved son. Listen to him. Suddenly, when they looked around, Moses and Elijah were gone, and they saw only Jesus with them. That's a powerful thought when Jesus says this. Some of you aren't going to die until you see the kingdom. Pretty much intimating some are going to die and never see the kingdom. And then really, what does that even mean that I'm going to see the kingdom? Well, 6 days later, I guess what they saw was the kingdom of God. Or at least what's going to be the beginning of what Jesus is going to do in the hearts of a believer. Because my question I want to ask you is, are you seeing the kingdom of God in your everyday life? Or are there other things that distract you from that? I mean, Jesus shows up on a mountain with Moses and Elijah, which is weird. Like, how did they even know? There's no pictures, there's no photograph, there's no DNA test. But they seemed pretty certain that, it was Moses and Elijah. And, they were distracted. They said, let us make 3 memorials and let's hang out and worship. And then all of a sudden, Moses and Elijah disappear. They're left with Jesus and a voice that says, this is my son, listen to him. And I think that's what the kingdom of God is. It's the ability to see Jesus and listen to Jesus to the point that every other distraction in your life becomes blurred. Everywhere you go to see Jesus, everywhere you go to listen to Jesus. So when Jesus says, some of you here are not going to die on this mountainside, who were the some of those people? Well, it was a crowd of people gathered around, all of his disciples gathered around. But Jesus kind of lent us this. Some of you will get it, some of you won't. Some of you will know what this is about, and some of you will have no clue. And I think what I would like to challenge you with today, are you one of those that has no clue what's going on? You're distracted by everything else in the world, chasing what you want to do, looking at everything on your plate and on your calendar, so much so that you miss the fact that Jesus is right in front of you. Not only is he right in front of you, he's living in you. And then the question becomes, if the kingdom of God is in me, and I need to learn to listen to the kingdom of God, it's so other people can know Jesus around me. It's amazing how it all comes right back to our 50 feet. So this is what I'm going to ask you this week. Do you care enough about the souls of the people in your 50 feet to become less distracted about you and more in tune with what Jesus is trying to accomplish on this planet through you? Less in tune about you, but more listening in tune with what Jesus wants to do through you. I have found this in my own life. Every day I wake up and say this, and you've heard it before, hopefully. God, if you can use anything, you can use me. And may I ever be so bold. If anybody comes across my path that needs you, may I ever be so bold to lead them to you. I myself am having to learn how to make people a priority over my preferences, over my distractions, and, learn to listen to Jesus. That's what I leave you with this week. Are you going to be a person that sees the kingdom of God come, or are you going to be a person that's so distracted you don't even get it? Jesus is trying to do something through you and for you, and he simply wants you to listen today. Hey, I want to pray for you. I want to ask Jesus to use you today. So you're going to have to be bold, because I believe he's going to answer this prayer. I'm going to ask him to use you this week in a supernatural way. Whether you're on a business trip, whether you're traveling, whether you're at home, at school, at work, wherever you are. I don't really care. He cares, and he wants to use you. So let me pray for you. It's a bold prayer, but I would ask you to pray it with me. Lord, if you can use anything, you can use me. So that's you tuning into the kingdom. Now this prayer. And God, if anyone comes across my path that needs you, may I ever be so bold to lead them to you. If you will pray that prayer every day, I guarantee you God will give you kingdom opportunities to lead people to Jesus Christ. I love you. Have a blessed day. I'll see you tomorrow.